What if I told you that the loneliness you've been feeling lately, the confusion, the waiting, the silence, it's not random. It's not a delay. It's actually a sign that something is shifting behind the scenes, something bigger than you can see right now, something that's quietly, carefully, and powerfully aligning you with the person your soul has been searching for all along. And the truth is, most people miss this moment. Most people walk away right before it happens. Most people lose faith when everything starts to feel uncertain, but you're still here, you're still listening, and that means this message is for you, because right now, in ways you don't even realize, God is moving pieces, removing distractions, closing doors that you thought you needed, and preparing a connection that won't just fill your heart temporarily but will transform your entire life permanently. And I know it doesn't feel like that right now. It feels like waiting, it feels like emptiness, it feels like you're being overlooked while everyone else is finding love, building relationships, moving forward, and you're stuck wondering, when is it my turn? But what you don't see is that while you're waiting, God is working. While you're questioning, God is aligning. While you're feeling alone, God is protecting you from connections that would have broken you instead of building you. And that delay you're frustrated about, it's not rejection, it's redirection, because the wrong person at the wrong time can destroy everything the right person is meant to heal. And that's why things didn't work out before, that's why certain people walked away, that's why conversations faded, that's why feelings weren't returned the way you hoped, not because you weren't enough, but because they weren't the one. And deep down you know this, because every time something ended, a part of you felt hurt. But another part of you felt peace, a quiet knowing that this wasn't it. And that feeling, that's not coincidence, that's guidance, that's protection, that's alignment in motion, because the person meant for you won't bring confusion into your life, they won't make you question your worth, they won't leave you wondering where you stand. Instead they will arrive in a way that feels natural, calm, and undeniable, like something inside you finally clicks into place. Like you're no longer searching because you found something real, something grounded, something that doesn't need to be forced. And right now, even if you can't see it, that person is being prepared just like you are. They're going through their own lessons, their own growth, their own healing, because timing matters, and if you met them too early, it wouldn't work. If they met you before they were ready, they wouldn't recognize your value, and if you connected before you became who you're meant to be, you might have settled for less than what you deserve. And that's why this season of your life feels different, that's why things are slowing down, that's why you're being pulled away from certain people, certain habits, certain environments, because God is not just bringing someone into your life. He's making sure you're ready to receive them, and readiness doesn't come from desperation, it doesn't come from chasing, it comes from becoming, it comes from growing into the version of yourself that can not only attract the right person but sustain the relationship when it arrives, and that's where you are right now, in the middle of transformation, in the space between who you used to be and who you're becoming. And I know that space feels uncomfortable, I know it feels uncertain, but that's where alignment happens, that's where everything starts to shift. And if you walk away now, if you lose faith now, if you settle now, you might miss what's coming next, because the truth is, your soulmate isn't just someone who makes you feel good, they're someone who aligns with your purpose, someone who walks with you, grows with you, supports you, challenges you, and helps you become everything you're meant to be, and that kind of connection. It doesn't come by accident, it's built, it's prepared, it's aligned step by step, moment by moment, decision by decision, and every delay you've experienced, every heartbreak you've endured, every time you felt like giving up. It was shaping you, it was refining you, it was guiding you towards something real, something lasting, something deeper than anything you've experienced before, and you might not believe it yet, but one day you're going to look back at this moment, at this exact season of waiting and wondering, and you're going to realize that nothing was wasted, not the pain, not the confusion, not the time you thought you were losing, because it was all leading you to the right person at the right time in the right way, and when that happens, everything will make sense, the silence will make sense, the delays will make sense, the endings will make sense, because they were never meant to break you, they were meant to position you, and right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, you are closer than you think, closer than you've ever been, not because you've found them yet, but because you've become the version of yourself that can recognize them when they appear. And that's the part most people don't understand. They keep searching without changing, they keep chasing without growing, and then they wonder why nothing lasts, but you. You're different, you're evolving, you're becoming more aware, more grounded, more aligned, and that's why this message found you today, because you're not just waiting anymore. You're being prepared, and the moment you stop seeing this season as empty and start seeing it as intentional, everything shifts, your mindset changes, your energy changes, your expectations change, and suddenly you're not desperate for love, you're ready for it, and that's when it comes, not when you chase it, not when you force it, but when you align with it, and right now. Alignment is happening, even if you can't see it, even if you don't feel it, even if everything around you looks the same, beneath the surface, things are moving, things are changing, things are coming together in ways you couldn't plan even if you tried, and all you have to do is not give up, not settle, not lose faith in the process that's working for you even when you don't understand it, because the connection meant for you. It's already on its way, and when it arrives, it won't feel rushed, it won't feel forced, it will feel right, like something you've been waiting for your entire life without even realizing it, and in that moment, you'll understand why everything had to happen the way it did. And the reason this moment feels so intense, so confusing, so emotionally heavy sometimes, is because you are not just waiting for love, you are being pulled into alignment with something your soul has recognized long before your mind could understand it, and that's why certain days feel peaceful while others feel overwhelming. That's why sometimes you feel completely fine on your own and other times you feel a deep, unexplainable longing that you can't put into words, because it's not just about wanting someone. It's about sensing that someone is getting closer, even if you don't know who they are yet, and most people ignore this feeling, they distract themselves, they rush into temporary connections just to silence that emptiness. But that's not what you're doing, you're still here, you're still choosing patience even when it's hard, and that's exactly why this alignment is happening for you and not for everyone else around you, because real connections require real preparation, and preparation doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like isolation, sometimes it feels like distance, sometimes it feels like you're being separated from everything familiar, but what's actually happening is you're being repositioned, you're being taken out of environments and mindsets that no longer match where you're going, and I know that can feel lonely. I know it can feel like you're losing people, losing opportunities, losing moments that you thought were meant for you. But what you're really losing are the things that would have kept you stuck, the things that would have delayed the connection that's trying to reach you, because think about it. If you were still surrounded by the same distractions, the same patterns, the same emotional attachments, would you even recognize the right person when they show up, or would you miss them because you're still holding on to something that was never meant to stay? And that's why God sometimes removes people without warning, not to hurt you, but to make space for something better, something aligned, something that won't confuse your heart but will bring clarity to your life. And yes, it hurts in the moment, yes. It feels like loss, but that emptiness you feel after someone leaves, it's not meant to stay empty, it's meant to be filled with something real, something stable, something that doesn't disappear when things get difficult. And that's what makes this season so important, because right now you're learning how to stand on your own, how to feel complete without depending on someone else, how to build a life that doesn't fall apart just because someone walked away, and that strength, that independence, that self-awareness. That's exactly what prepares you for a relationship that lasts, because the truth is, a soulmate connection isn't about two broken people trying to fix each other, it's about two whole people choosing each other, growing together, supporting each other without losing themselves in the process, and you are becoming that person right now, even if it doesn't feel like progress, even if it feels slow, even if it feels like nothing is changing inside you. Everything is shifting, your standards are rising, your mindset is evolving, your understanding of love is becoming deeper and more real. And that's why what used to attract you no longer excites you, that's why certain conversations feel empty, that's why certain people no longer hold your attention the way they used to, because you've outgrown what once felt enough, and that's not a loss. That's growth, that's alignment, that's your soul rejecting anything that doesn't match what's meant for you, and the more you honor that feeling, the closer you get to the connection that actually aligns with you, because alignment isn't about chasing, it's about becoming, it's about stepping into a version of yourself that naturally attracts what's right instead of forcing what's wrong, and right now, even if you don't realize it, you're stepping into that version. Every time you choose peace over drama, every time you walk away from something that doesn't feel right, every time you decide to wait instead of settling, you are moving closer to the person who is doing the exact same thing somewhere else, and that's the part that changes everything. Because while you're here wondering when they'll arrive, they're somewhere out there growing, healing, learning the same lessons, becoming the person who can meet you at your level when the time is right. And imagine what would happen if you met them before all of this growth, before all of this clarity, before all of this transformation. You might have missed each other, misunderstood each other, or worse, lost something that was meant to last. And that's why timing is everything, that's why delays are necessary, that's why things don't happen when you want them to, but when you're ready for them. And readiness isn't about perfection, it's about awareness, it's about knowing what you deserve and refusing to accept anything less, it's about understanding your own value so deeply that you don't chase validation from anyone else. And once you reach that place, everything changes, because you're no longer looking for someone to complete you, You're ready to share your life with someone who complements you, and that's when soulmate energy enters your life, not when you're desperate, not when you're lonely, but when you're aligned, when your life feels full even without them, when your energy is stable, when your heart is open but not dependent. And I know that's not easy. I know there are nights when you still think about what could have been, moments when you wonder if you missed your chance, days when you question if this connection will ever happen for you, but those thoughts, they're temporary, they're just echoes of your past trying to pull you back into old patterns, and you don't belong there anymore. You've moved beyond that version of yourself, and deep down, you know it, because even when you feel uncertain, you don't go back to what broke you. Even when you feel lonely, you don't settle for what drains you, and that right there, that decision, that strength, that's proof that you're already aligned with something better, something real, something that won't require you to lose yourself just to keep it, and that's what makes this journey worth it. That's what makes the waiting meaningful, because you're not just waiting for a person. You're becoming the person who can receive the love you've always deserved, and when that moment finally comes, when your paths finally cross, it won't feel like luck, it won't feel like coincidence, it will feel like everything in your life. Every delay, every ending, every moment of growth was leading you straight to them. And here's the part most people never realize. The moment you stop chasing love is the exact moment love starts moving toward you, not because you gave up, but because you finally stepped into alignment instead of desperation, and that shift, it's powerful. It's invisible to the outside world, but it changes everything inside you, because now you're no longer operating from a place of lack. You're no longer asking, "Why don't I have someone yet?" Instead, you're standing in a quiet confidence that says, "What's meant for me is already finding its way," and that energy, that belief, that calm certainty, it acts like a magnet, pulling the right person closer while naturally pushing the wrong ones away, and that's why things might feel quieter right now, that's why your circle might feel smaller, that's why your life might seem slower compared to others, because you're no longer entertaining what isn't aligned, you're no longer filling your time with temporary distractions just to avoid being alone, you're choosing peace, even when it feels unfamiliar. And peace, real peace, is where alignment begins to accelerate, because when your mind is no longer chaotic, when your heart is no longer attached to the wrong things, you create space for something real to enter your life, and that space you've created, it's not empty, it's being prepared, it's being filled with the kind of connection that doesn't come and go, the kind that doesn't leave you questioning everything, the kind that feels stable even in uncertain moments. And I know part of you still wonders how it will happen, where it will happen, when it will finally come into your life, but that's the part you have to release, because alignment doesn't work through control, it works through trust, it works through allowing things to unfold in ways you couldn't predict. Because if you could plan it, it wouldn't be divine, it wouldn't be bigger than you, it wouldn't have the power to completely change your life. And the truth is, the connection meant for you is not something you can force, it's something you recognize, something you feel instantly but understand over time, and when it enters your life, it won't come with confusion. It won't come with mixed signals, it won't come with emotional games, instead it will come with clarity, consistency, and a sense of calm that you've never experienced before, and that calmness, It might even feel strange at first, because you're so used to intensity, to uncertainty, to relationships that feel like emotional roller coasters, but this will be different. This will feel steady, grounded, real, and that's how you'll know it's aligned, because what's meant for you doesn't create chaos in your life, it brings peace into it, and that's why everything you've been through had to happen, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment where you felt like giving up. It was teaching you the difference between what feels intense and what is actually right, because not everything that feels strong is meant to last, and not everything that feels calm is meant to be ignored. And now you're finally reaching a place where you can tell the difference, where you no longer confuse attention with love, where you no longer chase what isn't choosing you, where you no longer settle for less just because you're tired of waiting. And that shift, that awareness, that growth, it's exactly what aligns you with your soulmate, because they're not looking for the old version of you, they're not looking for the person who doubted themselves, who overgave, who stayed in situations that drained them. They're aligned with who you are becoming right now, the version of you that knows their worth, that values peace, that understands love is not something you beg for but something you receive naturally when it's right. And that's why you had to go through this process. That's why things had to fall apart. That's why certain people had to leave, because you were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to evolve into someone who could experience a deeper kind of love, a more meaningful connection, something that doesn't just fill a space in your life but adds value to it. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you are closer than ever before, not because you found them yet, but because you found yourself, and that's the foundation everything else is built on. Because when you truly know who you are, when you truly understand your value, you naturally attract people who see it too, and that's when everything changes, because now you're not trying to convince someone to love you, you're simply allowing the right person to recognize you. And recognition, real recognition, it doesn't take time, it doesn't require effort. It happens naturally when two aligned people meet at the right moment, and that moment, it's coming, it's already being set in motion, through conversations you haven't had yet, through places you haven't been yet, through decisions you're about to make without even realizing how important they are. And that's why you have to stay open, you have to stay patient, you have to trust that even when nothing seems to be happening, everything is actually moving in your favor, because the biggest changes in your life don't happen loudly, they happen quietly, they happen behind the scenes, they happen in moments you almost overlook, and suddenly everything shifts. Suddenly you meet someone who feels different, someone who doesn't drain your energy but adds to it, someone who doesn't confuse your mind but brings clarity to your heart, someone who doesn't make you question your worth but reflects it back to you. And in that moment, you'll realize that all the waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation, all the loneliness wasn't emptiness, it was alignment, and all the times you thought you were being delayed, you were actually being guided, step by step, towards something that was always meant to find you. And when it finally does, it won't feel rushed, it won't feel forced, it will feel right, like something your soul has been waiting for all along. And that's the moment where everything in your life begins to make sense. And when that moment finally arrives, when everything that once felt uncertain suddenly becomes clear, you won't just recognize the person standing in front of you, you'll recognize the journey that brought you there, because something inside you will quietly whisper, "This is why nothing else worked," and in that instant, every delay, every heartbreak, every night you questioned everything will come together in a way that feels almost unreal, like pieces of your life that never made sense before are finally forming a picture you can understand. And the connection you step into. It won't feel like something you have to fight for, it won't feel like something you're afraid to lose, it will feel natural, steady, and deeply right, like peace has finally found a home inside your heart, and that's how you'll know this is different, because instead of anxiety, you'll feel calm, instead of confusion, you'll feel clarity, instead of overthinking every word and action, you'll feel secure just being yourself. And that's something you've never truly experienced before, not like this, not at this level, because everything you went through before was preparing you to understand the difference between temporary emotions and real alignment, and now you'll see it clearly. You'll see why certain people couldn't stay, why certain connections faded, why certain paths closed even when you wanted them to continue, because if they had stayed, they would have blocked what was meant to arrive. They would have taken space that belonged to something greater, and that's the part that changes everything, realizing that nothing you lost was actually meant for you, it was only part of the process that guided you here, and once you truly accept that, you stop looking back, you stop questioning the past, you stop wondering, what if? Because you finally understand that what's in front of you now is something you never could have created by holding on to what was behind you, and this connection. This person. They won't complete you, they'll complement you, they'll meet you at a level where both of you are whole, both of you are aware, both of you are ready to build something real without losing yourselves in the process. And that's why this love will feel different. It won't be based on need, it won't be based on fear, it will be based on choice, a conscious, powerful decision to stand beside each other, grow together, and create something that doesn't break when things get difficult, because real alignment doesn't disappear under pressure, it strengthens through it, and that's what makes this connection last. Not perfection, not constant happiness, but mutual understanding, respect, and a deep sense of knowing that you found something worth protecting, something worth investing in, something worth showing up for every single day. And the most powerful part of all of this is realizing that while you were waiting for this person to enter your life, you were becoming the person they were waiting for too. Every moment of growth, every lesson you learned, every time you chose not to settle, it was bringing you closer to this exact reality, and now you're here, not by accident, not by luck, but by alignment, by becoming who you were meant to be, and allowing what's meant for you to finally reach you. And if you're still in that space right now, if you're still waiting, still wondering, still feeling like it hasn't happened yet, understand this clearly: you are not behind. You are not forgotten, and you are not being denied what you deserve. You are simply in the final stages of preparation, the moment right before everything shifts, and most people lose faith right here, most people settle right here, most people walk away right before the breakthrough. But you're not going to do that, because something inside you already knows that this message isn't random, that this feeling isn't random, that this journey isn't random. It's all leading somewhere, it's all moving you towards something real, something aligned, something that will make everything you went through worth it. And that's why you have to hold on just a little longer, not in desperation, but in quiet confidence, not in fear, but in trust, because what's meant for you is not something you can miss. It's something that will find you at the exact moment you're ready to receive it, and when it does, it won't just change your relationship status, it will change your perspective, your energy, your entire life in ways you can't even imagine yet, and one day, sooner than you think, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the one who was waiting, the one who was growing, the one who almost gave up but didn't. And you'll feel proud, because you didn't settle, you didn't rush, you didn't lose faith in something you couldn't see yet, and that decision, that patience, that belief, it's what led you to the love that was always meant to be yours, and when that realization finally hits, you won't just feel happy. You'll feel complete in a way that doesn't depend on anything outside of you, because you'll understand that everything happened exactly the way it needed to, and nothing, not a single moment, was ever wasted. And if this message found you at the right time, if something inside you felt this deeply instead of just hearing it, then don't ignore that feeling, because alignment doesn't happen by accident, it happens when you're ready, and if you've made it this far, then you're closer than you've ever been.